Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Astrological Overview. And today we're going to have a look at the North and South nodes, which are changing from the last part of December 2021 into January 2022, where it will remain for approximately the next year and a half until around July 2023. So now the North Node is moving into the zodiac sign of Taurus. The South Node is moving into the zodiac sign of Scorpio. And we are moving from an air sign, Gemini. Gemini is referring to communication, fast communication, information, want to learn something new. It likes to move around quite quickly. It's very fun and it's very curious. And so also seeking dialogue and moving from this fast moving energy, from the fastest moving energy actually, to the slowest moving energy of Taurus, the earth element. We are moving into something more tangible, something that is showing up physically, materialistically in our lives. So we are moving from an intellectual level into something more physical. And with Taurus, it's about nature, and it's about, as it says on the card, it's about rich, earthy, productive, yet relaxed and slow energies. So here we are opening up more to our senses also. We're moving more up to nature, and we are perhaps being a little bit more stubborn. Taurus is a fixed sign, so it doesn't really like to get moved around that much. And if it really has to move, it has to consider it for a long time. Whereas Gemini energies were much more agile on a mental level, just moving around pretty fast. Now Taurus is physically not moving out of the place until it really has to. So it's this building energy that promises us success if we just want to stay put, if we put one foot in front of the other, if we look at the details, then we will come out successfully at the other end. And we find these Taurus energies in the second house, which I was mentioning before. It's also about our assets, our economy. It's about our values in life. It is also about our self-worth. How much value do we read into our own existence as a person with all our qualities? And the planet that is ruling the second house is Venus. And Venus is all about beauty and success, as it says on this card, also indulgence, and of course also our economy, valuables, excuse me, and everything that we hold near and dear in our physical, materialistical surroundings. So there is a great focus on that for the next year and a half, where we are sort of being asked to look at what we have at hand, both with our qualities as a human being, but also valuables. How much money do you have in your hand? How much money do you have in your pocket? Maybe you want to go through contracts at your workplace, or if you are renting some kind of accommodation, you want to go through the details of the contracts because something could be coming up for the next year and a half that needs some kind of review. So that's what the focus is on, where we are moving into now. Economy systems, using our senses, going back to nature, and also how we treat nature. Since we are in the earth element here, it could be a reference to how we treat Mother Earth. So as we have right now Venus in Capricorn, and which is also a reference to the earth element. Capricorn is also an earth element zodiac sign. It is more about our job and career and our life purpose. But as Venus is there right now, we have this double focus on earth element energies. So that could also be a reference for you on a personal level. You might want to check out your job life, your career. Are you satisfied? Is it bringing you value to who you are, to what you feel you are worth? Not only with your salary, but also are you met on a more emotional level? Since Venus is also a reference to relationships and balance and love. So do you feel that you're being met also in a more humane way? Are you feeling satisfied? Do you feel that you're using all of yourself, all your skills and talents in life? So that is also something that is coming up and is underlined. And let's move to have a look at Scorpio, because the South Node is moving us through an area where we are releasing things. We are dealing with the past. We are trying to come up with issues that has been pretty much in the past. So Scorpio is this intense and, as it says on the card, masterful, thoughtful, and magnetically charming, but it's also secretive and possessive. So Scorpio is actually one of the most important sign or powerful signs of the zodiac, because it has this, since we're in the water element over here, we are under the surface. Scorpio works with the truth. It works with also secrets, and it works with our Kundalini energy. It's working with rebirth. It is working with being the one who knows things, because they're going under the radar, so to say. So they're trying to connect everything, all the dots under the surface. So here we are dealing with a very powerful energy, and it's bringing truth to the surface, or it can. But as it also says in this card, also Scorpio can be the one who is holding secrets itself and being extremely jealous and possessive. So that can also be the energy right now for the next year and a half. Now we find the Scorpio energies in the 8th house, which is about how we are sharing our resources. So on a personal level, maybe it's time for you to check up your finances, since also the 8th house has got to do with our finances and economy, how you share it. Whereas Venus is about how do I provide for myself, sustainability, but for myself. In the 8th house, we are sharing our resources. So maybe you want to check up on some special contracts or deals you have with your partner or your friends or your families, where family members, where you have a certain deal with them regarding your finances. Maybe you want to have a check up on that. And on a societal level, it's about how our governments, authorities, institutions, banks, funds, how everyone is sharing that with, through agreements with the population. So that is also a very intense energy. And the planet ruling the 8th house is Pluto. Now Pluto is about, it can be about deep soul transformation, and it can also be about war and conflicts. It can be the total destroyer, with the goal of building things up again in a much better, much more effective way than before. But it is ripping absolutely everything apart. It's dragging stuff into the light so that we have the chance to transform things. But this is on a very deep level, since also a reference back to the water element here in Scorpio, that we are working with stuff that has got to do with our emotions, spiritual life, and using our senses, also being extremely sensitive, using our psychic abilities. So this can also be a major transformer right now coming in for the next year and a half, that we see that there is something in the past that is coming up, And since we are in such intriguing times astrologically, we see energies that are a reference back to what was going on 500 and 800 years ago. So it's really old energy that is coming to the surface to try to transform into something better. So there could be a lot of secrets, and I think that we're already seeing it on a worldwide scale right now, that secrets are being revealed and people are really asked to pay the bill. They're being asked to take responsibility for their actions. So there's something here on a deep emotional level that is rising to the surface right now. And it could be some kind of a flood with the water coming up, secrets coming up to the surface, almost being completely overwhelming. So this is a reference, like I mentioned before, to our spiritual beliefs, our abilities to use our psyches, and our sensitivity. All of that is also coming up. So there's something on a deeper level now that seems to be moving us out of the past, and so that we can take very tangible notes of what's been going on and try to rectify that, try to sort of count the money we have in our hands, counting the coins, sitting there on the stone, meditating, moving into our senses, and try to bring some kind of fertility, bring that back to life, start to see things blossoming again. So let's see if there is some advice for us during the next year and a half, where we are moving into this very intense energy. And also over here, I forgot to mention that right now Pluto is actually also in Capricorn, where we also have Venus. So we have this planet partnership going on right now, where we are definitely having a look at our job and careers, our life purposes. What are we doing here? Are we satisfied? Because right now we have the opportunity to rip everything up by the root, or at the roots, to plant something fertile with Venus here. She's having a retrograde period right now in Capricorn to just rethink things, and that's why I'm also pointing to the fact that right now, as the nodes are changing, we will feel this quick movement of a paradigm shift, and from that point onwards, we will just see the energies building. But right now we may feel these shifts quite powerfully because they are changing into Taurus and Scorpio right now. And so it will be very powerful for us now to have an extra look at our assets, our self-worth, what is really important to us, what moves us, what do we love, and what do we really appreciate, what is good for us, while meeting Pluto over here, and how do we share that with each other, how do we share our valuables and our values. So a major shift is going on, and also the North Node will eventually meet Uranus, which is also right now in Venus until 2025-26. So there will be some sudden changes, quick changes, moving in different directions, doing something different, and coming more into spirituality, astrology, and also moving more into higher thinking, which includes also telepathy. So a lot could also be going on there when the North Node is meeting Uranus. But quick changes, they're rapid changes, and that is why I'm coming to think of also that interacting with Pluto in Capricorn, that there could be some major shifts in our economy systems, and of course that will eventually affect every country in the world. So let's have a look at the first card that is coming out, and this card is saying diligence. Yes, I think actually we may have had that card with Gemini and Sagittarius. So we are right now moving from the fastest masculine energies into the feminine energies, slower moving energies. And this is just, to me, marking the transition of that right now we're still flying high. We still need a good overview. And with the landscape down here, I think it's a reference to Taurus and earth energies, not letting things out of sight. It's like, make it slow, make it a slow movement from the air element and into the earth element. Take it slowly, take with you what you learned in Gemini, whatever information was shared, whatever information was giving out, whatever information you have learned about, or any new skills on an intellectual level. Take that with you. Take that with you as you are approaching the landscape and as you are approaching the ground. So it's a slow moving energy. We're still a little bit in Gemini energies within the first 2 months here, but we are now starting to approach the ground. So things will very soon become tangible for us, very visible and very physical, very materialistical. The next 2 cards coming out, were coming out together, so let's have a look at them. And these 2 cards are talking about action and flexibility. So I like the fact that here we are in the water element. So actually, Scorpio energies are calling for us. The past is calling for us to do something. Like there is a breaking wave here. We are breaking up with the past. There is some kind of action we need to take on the dark shadow sides here from the past. And it has to do with our emotions, also our sensitivity. Whatever seems to have crushed us in the past or have broken us, we will now have the chance to rectify that. And then we have to move into more flexibility. And I love the fact that we have an animal here. Again, a perfect reference back to Taurus, where it is about animals and nature. And it's like there's autumn here. So autumn can talk about harvest. And this tiger is standing just about, it's like it's waiting for someone. It's like, okay, you need to be flexible here. You need to take action and stuff, but you need to be flexible because there are new energies coming into the world that we need to be grounded. And the tiger is talking about, in particular, about being in the present, to be present, to be in the moment, to really sense what is going on. Before we move on into the light, we need to have a look back here into this hall of shadows, I feel it is. And we have to take a look at that before we are taking those lessons with us into the light, into the future, and moving on. So we'll put them up over here. So really, some beautiful cards to move on with, that we really, again, this is also could also talk about flexibility, that right now we are still trying to hold that overview we have had in Gemini and taking that with us, which is also maybe what is calling for action, that the information we've had in Gemini, we need to take action on them. We need to have a look back, being present, come in tune with our senses, and to really listen and be present to what these shadow sides from the past are telling us. What have we learned, so that we can move into the future, into the light. So very emotional next year and a half, I would like to add also. So maybe you'll feel this on a personal level. Of course, as always, I have put a link down below so that you can go and check out your own natal chart and figure out where you have Taurus and Scorpio energies, so that you can see where this will affect you, in which life areas you will feel these energies. And so let's have a couple of cards here coming out. And since we're moving into Taurus and more grounding energies, I've chosen a deck which is very much about grounding energies. So let's have a look at the first card that is coming out. Yes, we are finishing up or wrapping up different specific circles of life right now. We are moving into new circles of life. We're coming out of old circles of life. And again, with the diligence card over here, a reference to that now we are moving from something old to something new. We are moving from Sagittarius in the past energies into Scorpio. So there is a change now from what we have learned, what kind of knowledge, judgment, belief systems, religions, and so on that we were facing in Sagittarius, and now we are moving with the South Node into Scorpio. So there are old cycles of life where we are moving to a deeper level of things now, is my impression of it, where things are slowing down. So as we've had a year and a half where things have been quickly moving, even though we've had the pandemic and restrictions, things have been moving. There's been energies that have been moving. There's been a lot of you can say action within our life force energy, within our in our mentality, in our thinking patterns. There's been a lot of reflection and also a lot of communication. So now we're moving more into feeling it all through Scorpio here, feeling it all underneath the surface and sensing what is coming up to the surface. So we're a lot more in our senses here and a lot more sensitive also. Now the next card that is coming out is this card, Trickster. Yes, this beautiful wolf on its lone path here. Maybe it feels that everything around it is frozen, but this card is talking about that things may not be what they seem to be. So maybe we feel that we're quite alone in all of this as we are wrapping up one life circle, moving into another life circle, but things may not be what they seem to be. Again, a reference back to how things could rapidly change in our financial systems and also with our private economy. There could be something there. So just be aware that something may not appear in its truthful way, because the wolf is also pointing to the truth of things. Okay, it's very sharp, the wolf, and it's very, with the animals here, it's very much about using, of course, our instincts here. But the tiger is talking about being in the present. The wolf is talking about really grabbing the truth by the root. So there is something coming in here where we feel that, or we have been led to believe that things were one way when things are really in a completely different way. So just be aware of that also in your private life, that you again want to check up on details, on contracts. What are you sharing with people? You know, your boss, your husband or your wife, particular friends or family members, where you have a special agreement on something. You might want to check up on that again. And on a collective level here, we definitely need to be aware of that. We are changing now into new circles of life, which is very positive, actually, I think. So Pluto is not necessarily negative, but sometimes in order to build something good, constructive, we need to have the you can say bad things or low vibrational things. We need to remove them first completely before we can start to build from the ground. And we are talking about building things up once again from the ground, since we're here in the earth energy. And also how we, with the environment, how are we treating Mother Earth? Also with the water, that could come something up about water pollution of the earth. So definitely something about, I'm getting paying the price now for what we have done in the past, but now we really have a great moment in history to really rectify it, to really grab it by the root and start to build up in more higher vibrational energies. So, which is definitely more fertile for us, more rich, and is promising us success at the end. Okay, so there is light at the end of the tunnel, like we have here with the tiger. We just need to be flexible to get these, to take action on whatever is coming up over here. So this was what I had for you in this episode of Astrological Overview. I hope you've been inspired to dive deeper, and I hope to see you next time with a new episode in here. And I'm wishing you all the best out there. Take great care of yourselves. Thank you for watching and listening, and bye for now.